Hello gamers, I'm MKCL and I'm super excited to talk about the topic of this video. New World just dropped a lot of details about their upcoming paid expansion that is coming on the 3rd of October, which is just a little over a month from now. And in this video, we are going to talk about what this will bring. While I still get excited about upcoming games, I'm a bit tired of seeing trailers and news about games that we might play at some point in the distant future. Often enough, I wish that we never knew about these games until 1-2 months before their release. By comparison, this expansion is something tangible with a clear release date. But before we proceed, we have a few words from the sponsor of this video, me. I want to thank all the returning subscribers for being here. We are almost at 300 subs, so thank you very much for supporting me in this hobby of mine. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I cover a variety of online gaming topics, so if you like my videos and think this will be of interest to you, consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Alright, back to the video. It's no secret that I have been a fan of New World, but despite liking the game myself, it has so many issues and missing features that I could never fully recommend it to others. This, however, is all about to change with a new expansion, and I personally feel like New World is finally becoming a full-fledged MMORPG. New World has gone through countless changes over these past 2 years, most of which were good for the game, and it is all culminating in this expansion. If you are not aware of the changes so far, I'll do a little summary of the main things that have been added or changed. If you are aware of these changes, feel free to use the timestamps to skip ahead. For PvE, there is a decent amount of content now, including 10 and 20-man content. For those that love RPG elements, they have reworked the vast majority of the main quest, and overall people seem to generally agree that the story is really good now. They added a new ultimate ability called Hard Rune, they added Transmog, which is a great help with the character agency, an aspect in which the game is still severely lacking. As for PvP, the situation is not great, but they added cross-server functionality and 3 vs 3 arenas. The game has also seen many quality of life changes that completely change the feel of the game. They also added exploration elements, but I feel the game is still lacking in this aspect when compared to other MMORPGs. The game also adopted a seasonal format that means bigger content drops every 3 months and a battle pass. I personally see the battle pass as an optional subscription for those interested. And now, with this little recap out of the way, let's talk about the new expansion. Since it's a paid expansion, let's start with the price. It will be $29.99, which is a fairly lower price when compared to other MMOs that have this model, and it will be subjected to regional pricing. As you might already expect, just like in every other MMO that has paid expansions, you will need to purchase it to access the content that comes with it. While personally I'm not a fan of this model that segregates the population, I accept it and support it because it's considerably cheaper than playing other MMORPGs. Moving forward, if we consider they will be following this model and will release a new expansion every year, the monthly cost will be $2.5. If you want to factor in the optional battle pass, the monthly cost will be a little over $9. To be honest, this comes as no surprise, because New World has always had better monetization than most other MMORPGs. Alright, with that out of the way, let's explore what this expansion will bring. I will start with mounts, because this is by far the feature that I am most excited for. Whenever I talk about the game with others, the game feeling like a running simulator has been one of the main complaints that all of us can agree on. No matter how many teleportation shrines they add, the game never managed to escape the terrible feeling of being a running simulator. Mounts will fix this, and for those of us that have been playing MMOs for years, mounts have always been an integral element of this genre. New World seems to be drawing inspiration for this from Guild Wars 2, which has arguably one of the best mount systems in any MMO. They will be adding 3 types of mounts with this expansion, and undoubtedly more will come in the future. They are adding horses, wolves and lions for now. As someone that plays and enjoys Black Desert Online, I am so very happy to hear that horses will not be the only available mount. After playing BDO and being limited to horses as the only viable mount, I am personally sick of horses, and I never want to ride one in an MMO if I have other viable options. And before anyone says anything, adding an ice cream cone to its head, pigeon wings, or setting it on fire does not make much of a difference. I am extremely passionate about this, so please excuse the rant and let's get back to New World. The mount system will come with a trade skill called Taming, and this will have an impact on your mount performance. We also know that there will be various customization options for mounts, including equipment that will be dyeable. I would assume this means there will be some sort of integration into the transmog system, and we will have the same freedom to customize our mounts as we have for the looks of our characters. Nothing has been said about these mounts being combat mounts or being used as combat pets. However, looking at the trailer and the poster for this expansion makes me think this might be the case. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, maybe the mount system I wish for influences my perception. But if this would be the case, for me, this would make New World mount system the best mount system in any MMORPG. But to not get my and your hopes up, I think it's important to keep in mind there is a very small chance of this being the case. Regardless of this, mounts will be an amazing addition to New World. This expansion will also feature a new zone. Well, not really new, but an old zone that has been reworked. In Season 2, they removed access to one of the zones that was no longer relevant to the game, and with the expansion, they completely reworked it. This will basically act as a new zone that will have its own storyline and its own expedition, and all the content that will be relevant for the expansion. Personally, I think they should have just made a new zone rather than reworking an old one, but I guess this doesn't make much of a difference. This new expansion will also bring a brand new weapon, the Flail. This will be a strength and focus weapon that will enable a sort of paladin playstyle with buffs and debuffs. While new weapons bring a whole new world of possibilities, pun intended, because of how the classless system works in New World, this weapon will be the second weapon that can be paired with a shield, and this has more implications than it might initially seem. They are clearly willing to expand on the weapon combinations available. We also know that most likely the next weapon after this will be daggers, so I really hope this means that they will be willing to allow us to combine one-handed weapons in the future. Equipping one-handed weapons in each hand will bring such a massive amount of variety to the game that I personally believe it would greatly benefit from. And I know for a fact that there are plenty of people like me out there that absolutely love dual wielding. So, fingers crossed. The next massive element that will be coming with this expansion will be related to progression, and there is quite a bit to unpack here. They seem to have adopted a similar structure to Theme Park MMOs, where the expansion will raise the level cap, gear score cap, and the trade skill cap. So this expansion will go up to level 65, 700 gear score, and trade skills will be going up to level 250. This is a double-edged sword. The problem with a system like this will be the fact that usually when expansions get released, a good amount of your previous progression will lose its value. For me, this is a negative. For example, I do not play games like World of Warcraft because every single expansion, almost all progression I achieved previously gets completely disregarded and I start from zero. MMORPGs being grindy games, there is almost nothing worse that a developer can do that disregards my time and effort. However, this is not all bad. A system like this allows for most players to play on a relatively similar level, allowing casual players to be able to enjoy the game without feeling left too far behind. And since most players are casual, this will most likely be a good change for the game. This obviously sets up a precedent, and it will be safe to assume this will be the new norm moving forward. But there are a lot of systems in New World, and it does seem like a lot of effort that you put in previously will still have value. For example, trophies will maintain their value. To be honest, they will probably gain value after this expansion. This also comes with a lot of changes, especially to gear. They are introducing a new gear quality. This will be artifact gear. This powerful equipment will require you to complete a series of objectives to unlock its full potential, and it will have up to 6 perks, including a unique perk. This new gear will be similar to exotics in Destiny. You will be able to equip one artifact weapon, one artifact armor, and one artifact accessory. While personally, I would have loved for these artifacts to be extremely hard to get and, as a trade-off, not have this limit, I understand this limit is the right way to go about this, and it has been implemented for both balance purposes and to keep normal gear relevant. Without it, people would only be chasing artifact gear and everything else would almost entirely lose its value. This expansion comes at the same time with Season 3, and Season 3 will be an update to the base game. Since we just talked about progression and gear, let's cover the changes related to that. They removed expertise. In case you are not aware, expertise was something they implemented at the suggestion of some popular streamers. It was a system that governs what items you receive as drops, and it was a meaningless wall for new players to overcome. Maybe it was needed when the game did not have enough content, but it is not needed now, and it's finally being removed. Items will now drop based on the content you are doing, which is the way it should be. The next changes that come to gear is the removal of Bane, Ward and Resilience. This has been a request from the majority of players for as long as I can remember. Currently in New World you need specific gear for content and the enemy type you are fighting. This makes it so you need 7 sets of gear for each build you are playing, which is fairly ridiculous and it turns gearing up into a chore. With these changes, people can focus on building gear that suits their playstyle. As for Resilience, it has been removed from gear and integrated into the armor type you will be using. The seasonal update will continue the rework of the main quest. Eden Grove and Great Cleave will see their main quest revamped, and I am certain that this will be well received by the community, just like the other main quest reworks have been so far. One of the last things the Season 3 update will bring is the introduction of Influence Towers. During specific schedules, they will become open-world PvP events and factions can war against each other over them. They will play an important role in pushing the territory influence and will have a major impact on the war mechanics present in game. Because the vast majority of players enjoy mostly PvE content, often enough PvP content feels left out, so it's good to see PvP being shown some love. Last but not least, during Season 3 we will have the Halloween event and the Turkey event. These are the highlights of what this patch will bring, and I hope this gave you a good idea of what you can expect from the new update for New World. Personally, I believe this update will breathe new life into New World, and it will finally be in a state where I can recommend it to others. Sure, it will still have a lot that can be improved upon, but it's finally in a state worth investing your time into. So what do you think? Will you be returning to New World? Are you as excited as I am? Feel free to let me know in the comment section below. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. See you in the next one, gamers.